Welcome back, everybody. We're talking about clarity, and this is the 9th day in my video series of I've challenged myself to do a video every day for 30 days, which are going to also be the first 30 videos in my online coaching training video series. The Principles of Success with Luke Watkins. Success as I know it, which isn't much. Just kidding. Today we're going to talk about clarity. We've talked about success, and the first stage within success is discovering who we are. The first step within discovering who we are was accepting who we are. Now we're going to talk about clarity. We need to get really clear on what we want, what we need, and then prioritizing those wants and needs. So let's talk about wants first, okay? Wants. I want you to take out your journal. Oh, and side note, if you haven't been writing in your journal and asking yourself these questions and writing down the answers and making the lists as I've been telling you to do, you're not gonna make much progress. Journaling is so vital and important to this whole process because when you write in your journal, you have something to look back at and reflect and review. And if you're not reviewing your journal at least nightly or daily, you should be doing it at least weekly. And there's a couple reasons for that. Mostly because you can look back and see what you've done good, what you haven't done good, and how you can be better. And also, looking through your ideas and things that you've written will spark other ideas. And then you'll have an explosion of ideas and you'll keep growing and growing with your ideas, and it's just an amazing experience. That's what I have done and found in my experience, and so I want you to have the same. So take out your journal, write down the answers to these questions as far as what we want when we're getting clear. We're going to getting crystal clear on what we want. What do you want? Okay, that's the first question. I know it sounds silly, but what do you want to create? What do you want as far as money? How much money do you want? What do you want in your health, your fitness? What do you want as far as a family or a relationship or a spouse or kids? What type of job do you want? And when you're asking yourself these questions, don't put any limitations on the answers. Just put down what you want, okay? Because in all reality, we can do whatever we want to an extent, and we'll get there. And then secondly, with the wants is ask yourself, where do you want it? Okay? So like, where do you want to live? Or where do you want to travel? Or where do you want to go with your boyfriend? Or where do you want to go with your family? Okay? Ask yourself where you want it and what you want. Okay? So we talked about what we want and where we want it. And most importantly with this, and we'll dive in deeper later, but just quickly as something to spark your thoughts, ask yourself, why? Why do you want these things? Okay? I'm not going to go into that right now. We'll do that later. But why do you want these things? Now, secondly, with getting clear on what you want, is you need to identify your needs. This is where we have to be brutally honest with ourselves. And we've spent time in the first couple of videos talking about accepting where we are right now. And this is where this stuff comes into play, because you might have certain needs that won't allow you to get to your wants yet. And let's dive into needs real quick. So you need to identify what your needs are. What do you really need? You need food. You need shelter. You need a job, probably. You need to be loved. You need to give love. You need to serve. Those are some ideas, but identify with yourself and make a list. Again, ask yourself these questions. What are your needs? Do you have children right now that you need to care for? Do you have a husband or a spouse that you need to care for? Do you have a job that you have to go to pay the bills? Do you have bills to pay? Those are needs, okay? Identify what they are. Now, one more thing with the needs is, after you've made your list of wants, the needs might change a little bit. Let's say you want to become a doctor. Well, if you're not a doctor already and you want to become one, you're going to need to go to school. And let's say you don't have the money to go to school, you're going to need to get another job, or you're going to need to save the money. So that's why I wanted you to write down your wants first, because that's going to help identify your needs. Now, quickly on needs and wants. Sometimes, depending on where you're at in your life, and that's why we went through asking yourself the questions about where you are right now and what success means to you. So depending on how you answered those first questions in the previous videos is going to affect how you prioritize these. And that's what we need to do next. You need to look at your list of wants and then look at your list of needs. Now listen, if right now in your life, your needs outweigh your wants are going to have to wait, okay? You have to take care of the needs before you take care of your wants. But let's say you're in a point in your life where you don't have many needs and you have a lot of wants, then just go after your wants unless you've identified some needs that are going to help you get to your wants. Does that make sense? So you need to acknowledge what your wants are versus what your needs are, and then you need to prioritize them. Make a list and see which one outweighs the other, and then just go for it. So we've talked about clarity. The first thing is identifying your wants and needs, and just ask yourself why. Okay, don't go deep into that question, but you should be writing in your journal the answer to the questions. What do you want in your physical health life? What do you want in your finances? What do you want in your relationships? Where do you want it? Why do you want it? And then identify your needs. Do you need to provide food for your children or your family? Do you need to pay the bills? Okay? And then prioritize them. So that's it, excuse me, on clarity for today. We'll talk more about clarity tomorrow and the next day. Unless you're watching these videos one after another, then you're going to just roll right into some more clarity. But I hope you have been enjoying these. God bless everybody.